Now, when we think about being authentic, it brings in the whole question of identity. Who am I really? And this is crucial because a lot of our fear and defensiveness comes from trying to defend who we think we are and trying to determine who other people think we are. So let's have a little look at who we think we are. In my experience, we don't really know who we are. If we think about what we think about who we are, then what we think about is really just a story we tell ourselves. Sometimes if we're feeling good and things have gone really well, we tell ourselves a really positive story about ourselves. Well, that was great. Hi, I'm pretty good at this. And yeah, people really like me. And if things go wrong, or if we're upset and we've had an argument, we tell ourselves a different story. Oh, why do I always do that? God, it's happening again. Nobody ever likes me. And it's a story. So one of the elements about the story we tell ourselves about who we are is simply what's happened recently and what's going on in the environment. If we go down to another level, those of you who've had children or have seen or watched babies develop know that when we come into this world, there's very little sense of who we are. But very soon, people begin to tell us who we are. Oh, what a lovely little boy. Oh, what a pretty little girl. Wow, you're really strong. You're too noisy. You're a good girl. You're a bad boy. And all the rest of it comes in. And we internalize this. This is, as you probably know, what we call conditioning, our early conditioning. And when people comment upon us, who or how we are, we internalize that and we think that it's true. But actually, of course, it's just a story that people have told us about ourselves that we've internalized and then we believe to be true. And then as we grow up, we experience things, we take decisions, we have relationships, we understand certain things, we go through certain schools or institutions that have different forms of conditioning, and the story grows and develops. Always based upon those fundamental foundations, of course, that happen probably even before we know we exist. You know, that what somebody once said, give me a child to the age of 5 or 7 and I'll show you the adult. Well, that stays with us and can determine, it's like a big filter through which everything else passes. We already know, however, that the way we tell our story to ourselves can be determined by immediate or immediate past circumstances. So if we think about who we really are, how can that be true? If we're both of these people, we are literally both of these people. We don't have to decide on this or that. So this brings in a couple of concepts. First of all, it brings in the concept of choice. Am I choosing to be who I wish to be and to live how I wish to live? Or am I running on some conditioning on a conveyor belt that was laid down within me 10, 20, 3 or 4 decades ago, depending on your age? That's the first question. The second question is, if I don't know who I really am, do I know who I can be? We really have no idea of our potential. Through our lives, we run on certain rails determined by social need, economic need, and past conditioning, as we've touched on. Our potential is there to be explored. Somebody once said, we are not human beings, we are human becomings. And this journey of becoming who we can be is the journey of fulfilling our potential. Now that is where the rest of this work comes in. The ability not to tell myself a story all the time and try and fix it up in this little mental box. If we can tell a story, we are diminishing ourselves because we are too big, too complex, too intangible to fit in to these strict, limited concepts of words and sentences and stories. This is why when we talk to children, we tell them fairy stories, because the real self talks in symbols. in understandings. It will not be constrained by words and the structure of our sentences in whatever language we are. So to get out of the story is where presence comes in. To be truly present in the moment, there is no story. And when we're truly present and we allow ourselves to be within, to interact with whatever's going on in this present moment, whoever is there in this present moment, from our true selves, then we have an opportunity to explore our potential. Not to limit it by saying, I'm not like that, that's not the sort of person I am, but simply to see who we might be and therefore begin truly the journey of fulfilling our real potential.